So after weeks and weeks of insane AFL trade news, rumours, updates and more, we finally had a pretty quiet week, and for good reasoning. And even though I say quiet, they still managed to have 897 different news topics to talk about in today's video. But quiet because obviously the grand final happened, which I mean was flat out insane, especially if you're a Brisbane Lions fan, like how good that they are as a team. But a little bit more quiet in terms of bigger names less mentioned, but also there were a lot of, I think, of those role players that we're starting to hear more and more about as, you know, the trade news is going on. Of course, by the time that this video comes out, the trade period will only be, I think, about 5 or 6 days away from officially starting, or free agency officially starting, sorry. So that's of course massive. Again, I do want to preface by saying in this video as well, before I do get into all the latest news and information, if there is something that I talk about, such as a player, you know, getting interest from another team, and he decides to nominate a team while making this video, just know that obviously 99.9% of the time I will go back and re-edit the video and just cut that out if that happens. But I'm actually going away to a camp with work, so I basically won't be able to change this video once it's out. So, you know, I've got, of course, I'm going to be talking about in this video the rumoured report that St Kilda are going to be, you know, offering Sam Flanders a 5-year deal, which is being reported by Sam Edmund. If this video does come out and, you know, Sam Flanders for some reason has picked Melbourne, which I don't know why he would do that, which I doubt that would happen, please don't come in the comment section down below and threaten my whole entire family tree. Yeah, I can't really change this video once it's out there, so that's what's going to be happening. But I guess we'll start off with the Sam Flanders one, because I am actually quite confident that he will not be going and requesting a trade in Melbourne, like, you know, they have been a little bit linked to him. But as I said, St Kilda have tabled a 5-year contract offer to Gold Coast midfielder Sam Flanders. That's being reported by Sam Edmund. Of course, I'm quite confident that it's either going to be out of Gold Coast or out of St Kilda. I don't think any other Melbourne club, like a Richmond or a, you know, Melbourne, are going to come into this equation and trade for him. I think St Kilda are offering him a really, really good deal. Again, we know it's 5 years. Reportedly, it's going to be about around 800 to 900k a year. I definitely feel like he will look at that and could very well take it and could very well request a trade. The only issue is that this could be one of the only situations where a player actually does request a trade and gets knocked back. And what I mean by that is, in the last couple of years in the AFL, if a player goes and requests a trade, he usually gets traded. It's very rare it doesn't happen. Like, I think Josh Dunkley, that's one that's come on top of my head. He requested a trade to Essendon, and the Dogs didn't get that done. A year later, he went to Brisbane. I think Danaher, he requested a trade to Sydney. That didn't get done. A year later, he went to Brisbane as well. Sam Flanders is actually a really odd situation, because he's basically only going to be requesting a trade, in my opinion, for the money, which St Kilda are probably going to offer him, and he's going to be getting offered pretty good midfield time as well. The issue with that is the fact that the Gold Coast Suns, I think, know this guy is very happy at Gold Coast, and they're not in a situation where they want to lose players, and they know that they've got Sam Flanders to a deal right now, and basically the only reason he wants to leave could be because of the money, or could be because of the position. It's not because this guy's unhappy. It's not because he wants to go home. Any of those things. That's not what we're hearing about. So Gold Coast can, and I think will probably say, if they don't get a good offer from the Saints here, there's really no reason for them to trade him now. They're not overly looking to sign someone big where they need to clear up cap or anything like that. They could honestly just sit on this and not trade Sam Flanders, you know, knowing the fact that he is pretty happy at Gold Coast, and the reasons he may want to move is because of other circumstances. So I feel like this could be one that really comes down to the wire, and could be one of the few trades we actually see that falls through just because... Jesus Christ, just burped out some freaking KFC, I just ate. Just because I think Gold Coast know that Sam Flanders is happy there and they don't actually really need to trade him. So that's one that, of course, is happening. But speaking about Gold Coast right now, it is being said by Tom Morris that the Gold Coast Suns are doing their due diligence on Jamarra Ugle-Hagan. They haven't met him yet, and there's still quite a few hoops to jump through, but they haven't ruled out bringing him in via trade. The Dogs wouldn't play hardball if it got to that. I mean, yeah, they wouldn't play hardball because Jamarra, even though he's got a contract, I think is basically on the verge of being released by the Dogs. Like, the reality is the situation with Jamarra and the Dogs is so sticky right now, and it has been throughout all year. Like, there was glimpses of hope halfway through the year when he came back to training and was trying to push for VFL that could happen. But then weeks after that, he was gone again for a little bit, and all of these weird things. I mean, we don't truly know why Jamarra is not playing for the Dogs right now. I think some media outlets have said some mental health issues. We don't really know. Other people have said there's a lot of behind the scenes issues. Jamarra having off-field issues with some players. Don't want to really talk about it or confirm anything because at the end of the day, it's all speculation and rumors and we don't know really jack shit. So the thing is with Jamarra, I think there's a little bit more going on behind the scenes for teams not to be truly interested in a guy who was pick one and a guy who basically had a near 40-goal season just a little bit ago. The reality is that I think teams will look at him. I think a team like Gold Coast will do their penis. Why can't I fucking say this word at the moment? You know what? We're just going to skip that. You guys understand what I'm trying to say? I think a lot of teams will do their research on Jamarra. I'm going to use that word instead. And there will be teams that look at him. I think Gold Coast will be one. I mean, if you have a key forward depth chart of Max King, I had one job. If they had a key forward, depth chart of Ben King, Walter, Jamarra Ugle-Hagan, the unicorn himself, which is of course Ethan Reid, Jai Farah's there too. They've got a lot going on right now with the Suns. And I mean, if you can get Jamarra as a depth player, I don't think, that'd be a bad idea at all. I definitely think they'll look at that. Some other mild news, Laverde will reportedly be joining GWS as a delisted free agent. The Giants actually confirmed that. Strange one that a couple years ago, I think Laverde was actually a really good and solid player. One of the more underrated ones in the league. But as of late, I don't know, he seemed to be on the back end at Essendon. They ended up delisting the guy and telling him to look for different opportunities. I think this is actually a decent idea by the Giants. I think they desperately need some depth, and you can get a free, cheap guy here, probably going to be on a minimum contract. This is a decent move. I can see why they, of course, are doing this one. And Essendon are clearing out all the players. They got rid of him, which I think was an okay decision. But getting rid of Todd Goldstein was a little bit strange considering I don't even know who's rucking for them next year. I might be rucking for them next year and I'm 5'8". So, shit, if Essendon need a guy who's going to maybe sack tap Max Gawn, because that's probably where my head is level at. Pause. So yeah, if Essendon need to give someone a call, I'm right here. Some other ones. Buku Khamis requested a trade at Carlton. It is being reported by Peter Ryan. The Western Bulldogs' Buku Khamis has told the club he wants to be traded. Carlton is his nominated club, contracted for a year and has played 31 games in the past 2 years. I actually think Buku Khamis is an underrated player and he's now joining this plan that Carlton seem to have of having these athletic kind of players, that they want to bring in. They want to bring in some more athleticism, some more speed. He's one. Of course, Campbell Chess is another one. They're actually looking at Giath from Hawthorn as well, which has been reported by a couple different people. Looking for some athleticism, looking for some, some speed there. Buku Khamis, I think, will be a very good Jack Silvani replacement. Probably going to be a cheap Jack Silvani replacement as well. They'll have to give up an okay pick for him, but he's definitely not on much money to play for the Dogs right now. They probably only given him a little bit more. He's probably just looking for a solidified role in a team, and I think he'll be able to get that at Carlton. I actually think it would be a very good, third defender down back. But I don't know, they may even have, ambitions of playing him up forward. He's played a couple different positions at the Dogs, so we'll see how that one does unfold. Judd McVee also recently requested a trade to Fremantle. He will seek a trade to Fremantle after deciding on a return to Western Australia. It's being reported by Cal Toomey. That's an odd one. He had a contract in place by Melbourne. They offered that to him. He declined it, but before he declined it, the rumours were all saying he was looking at West Coast. Really interesting that Fremantle were able to beat West Coast to getting Judd McVee, considering West Coast should have a crap ton of money. Judd McVee's in his very early 20s, of course, a WA player. Why the hell were West Coast not going for him, really, really badly, considering Fremantle, I don't think they should have exactly too much cap. Jackson's on $1 million. We know Shea Bolton was the 4th highest paid player this year on $1.3 million. They've got a bunch of other guys on a lot of money. How did they have the money to beat West Coast? I'd imagine, he may have just gone to Fremantle because he wants to be in a win now situation. But in saying that, West Coast are the favourites to get a bunch of different players like Brandon Starcevic, and I still think he would have been a good option there, and the money should have been good, but I don't know. I don't know if they just didn't go for him or what the situation was, but very big miss from West Coast to not get Judd McVee here, and for him to go to Fremantle to be a very good addition to their backline. Low-key an L for West Coast. I don't know what's going on there. A little bit of an L for Melbourne. They probably didn't want to lose him, so that kind of sucks. Another report here is the recent rumours that Christian Petracca could be looking at Gold Coast now as well, saying that Track could be looking to join the Suns. If there had to be a decision made by Christian Petracca right now as the best fit for him, right now, if someone rang him and said, Christian, you have to sign a form, he would sign with Gold Coast. This is one of those ones there, if this video comes out and he's already nominated a team, I'm sorry. But the reality is that, I don't know, I feel like Petracca just wants to get out of Melbourne so bad where he might take offers from all different type of teams. I expect him to he might even nominate an Adelaide. I don't know. I don't know who he's going to nominate. But I don't think he'd be too opposed if another team came calling late to try and trade for him. So I'd keep this open, even if he nominates a team. I still think he might have a backup if that fails. Gold Coast would be a really good option. But I don't want to talk about this one too much because I'm low-key a little bit scared. So we'll have to see how that one does unfold. But one I really did want to talk about because this news has kind of come out pretty recently, and I think it'll be interesting to see how this does unfold. But it's actually talking about Zane Duursma and the report that he could be, of course, looking to go to the Essendon Football Club. It has been reported that Cal Toomey has noted if Zane Duursma were to be on the move, Essendon would be the primary destination for the youngster. The 20-year-old, 190cm and brother of Essendon wingman Xavier Duursma is a reliable goal kicker, strong mark, inside 50, an excitement machine, and being snatched up by the Roos with pick 4 of the 2023 AFL draft. He's contracted, therefore we would need to trade for him. Again, I actually think Duursma would be a really good option for the Bombers, and this is coming from a guy who's pretty anti-Duursma. I'm sure for those of you who've been watching the channel for quite a bit know there aren't too many players I dislike in the league, but I'm not a big Xavier Duursma fan at all. I think you like Xavier Duursma or you don't. This is of course the older brother who plays for Essendon on the wing. I don't other than this year, he actually had an okay year this year, I will admit that. But I have thought for a little bit now that Xavier Duursma has a lot of really bad footy problems. I think he is weak. He can't go for a contest. I don't like his hard ball at all. His kicking can be really, really bad. I brought this up in one video, and you guys agree with me in the comments, is that I've never seen a guy who kicks tight on the boundary, kick it out in the full so many times. If this dude is tight to the boundary, that shit is going out in the full. I don't know why, but I think there was a lot of problems with his game He actually got better and better as the year went on and they relied on him a little bit more. I unfortunately think Zane Duursma at North, the player who Essendon are interested in, has definitely a lot of these problems as well. The difference is that Zane Duursma has a much higher ceiling, in my opinion, than what Xavier Duursma does. And if you actually watch Zane Duursma play, he will completely go missing and he struggles a lot to find the ball and have an impact on the contest whatsoever. But there are times where you watch this guy play and you're like, holy shit. Like, the mark that he just took. Like, he'll take a specky out of nowhere on two guys' backs because his athleticism and leap is so incredible. And his speed running up to the ball is actually very good. Where you're like, oh my god, if this guy figured out his shit and like got it together, he would be an incredible player. And you really see why he was actually selected with the 4th overall pick and why teams are, some teams are circling him right now. And I think North Melbourne, unfortunately, is a very, very hard team to develop at. I think North have some coaching issues. They definitely have list managing issues, like how they haven't fixed their backline in the 6 years they've been drafting higher, how they traded that top 3 pick away to Richmond. So many questions. Zane Duursma, as we know, has expressed his frustration to higher ups at North. He hasn't been getting a game, and then when he does get a game, he's played a lot of footy as a sub. Really, really tough for a young player who I think is playing arguably the hardest position in the AFL as a high half forward to really get any continuity and actually stretch and evolve his game. So I think Essendon, they're going in a very different situation now. They delisted a lot of old players like Laverde and, well, Laverde is like 28. It's not even old, but a lot of experienced and mature players. Laverde, of course, they're moving on. Dylan Shield, Todd Goldstein, a couple other guys here and there have been, moved on as well. They're going very, very young next year, and it's what they definitely need to do. But lucky for them, they still got some older, experienced players who should be able to still help this team out. I think Zane Duursma is going to be much more likely to develop his game at Essendon. I think the high half forward spot at Essendon is also a need for them. Is Brad Scott the best coach to be going under? I'm not too sure. I think he's probably in a better situation going under Brad Scott than what you'd be with Clarko right now. I mean, sometimes I watch Clarko's game style and I want to do a backflip off the biggest bridge in Melbourne. But in saying all of that, you still have to wonder, is Zane Duursma going to be that guy? And then the issue is how do you work out a trade here? If Zane Duursma does want to go to Essendon and he requests a trade there and whatnot, and you're North Melbourne, you're thinking, hold on a second, we've got this guy contracted. He was pick number 4 a year and a half to 2 ago. We think he's going to be an incredible player still, and hopefully, as we develop and whatnot, he'll develop with us. We don't really want to trade him, and if we do trade him, we still want a good pick, because this dude was literally just a pick 4 not so long ago. But Essendon would be sitting there and they'd be thinking, hold on a second, Zane Duursma has been absolutely booty cheeks for you. He's not happy with the club right now. He could struggle to get a game for you next year, and he could never be or develop at North Melbourne. But they might be saying that and thinking, you want a good pick, but this guy hasn't done anything to show we should be trading him for a good pick. We want to trade you an early 2nd round pick and get this deal done, because that's all he's proven so far. And then, Essendon have every right to ask for that, but North Melbourne have every right to say, hold on a second, this dude was a pick 4 literally 2 years ago. We're not trading him. We think he could be an elite high half forward. But yeah, Essendon would be arguing that he's probably not going to be an elite high half forward for you because you're North Melbourne. That's probably flat out what they would say. And he hasn't done anything to be worth anything at all. So there'll be a lot of debating and arguing. This could be a really big trade that you're just like, how does that even happen? It's almost like you just need Duursma to have one more year at North and string together some better footy for him to even think about moving on. So that would be a situation that we're going to have to see unfold. I don't know if Zane Duursma will be a good player in the AFL. I personally don't I'm probably more on the side of I don't think he will, just because I see way too much of his brother in him, which, I mean, his brother's turned out to be an okay player, but would Xavier Duursma get a game on any team in the top 8 right now? Probably not. So it is like a toss-up situation. So it's like, hey, you got another brother coming in, you know, who could be I think he'll probably be the best one, looks the best one. Third time's the charm, hopefully, for the parents, because holy shit, this guy could be really good. Of course, Willem Duursma coming in through the draft this year. Probably will be going to West Coast, so we'll see how that does, of course, unfold and more. Again, I'm very interested to see how this does go, and if Zane Duursma can find his way at the Bombers, or if he's just going to be stuck at North Melbourne, if his career will ever eventuate into being anything at all. We'll definitely have to wait and see. Again, I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this in the comment section down below. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest AFL news, AFL content, all of the above. You know, go and subscribe to my gaming/movie channel, which will be getting linked down below. My Instagram will also be getting linked down below. Go check that out. But yeah, as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.